Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Branch Business Hub. I am thrilled to have Sam Demma joining me today. Sam is an author, a speaker, a motivational guru, so to speak. And I found Sam on social media. My social media feed I try to keep as positive as possible, and so the internet just knew that I needed some Sam Demma in my life. So welcome, Sam.
Dr. Cathy, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I know you're a busy, busy guy traveling all over the world, speaking and talking and sharing all that you've learned. You are actually half the age of me, and you're only a few years older than my sons. I have two sons that are 22 and 23. And so
Mm.
when I first caught on to following you and listening to some of what you had to share, I remember having like this strange little mama bird, like I'm so proud of you. I don't know you, but I really, because you're similar age to my sons, and I always try to make sure that my sons are kind and outgoing and talk to people and give compliments. And a lot of the stuff that you talk about are the things and the ways that I've tried to raise my children. And so I really
Mm.
connected with that.
It means the world to me. I'm not a parent yet, but I hope that when I have kids, I can instill all the values that my parents and grandparents have instilled in me into them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I know when my kids were in school, they were always good students, A's, B's, they'd throw in a C just to be spicy every once in a while. And, but they would win the kindness awards. And
Uh,
those went up on the fridge. Like, you know what? I don't care. I really, as long as you're, doing well and living up to your potential, I don't care you get straight A's. I don't think people need to do that to be successful. And but the kindness award I was all down for. So why don't you start us off by giving us kind of the cliff notes? You're probably too young to know what cliff notes were, but the cliff notes of your life. And you're an author of two books, which I just bought today, which I'm very excited. So, give us a little background to get us started.
I'll give you the AI summary. That's what we'd say these days.
That's the new cliff notes, huh?
Yeah. Um, what can I share with you? I I'm 26 years old today. I'm a
Happy
brother.
birthday.
No, sorry. I mean,
Oh,
today is in like, yeah, I'm 26 right now. My birthday was in September.
well, happy
Oh,
birthday in
that's
September.
that's terrible delivery. I'm 26. I am a brother. I'm a son. I'm a grandson. I have three of my grandparents still alive, which is one of the things I'm most grateful for in my life.
Wow.
I have so much support from the people I love the most. My parents gave me permission to fail and pursue a pathway that didn't align with their expectations, but their belief in me and freedom to choose my own path made me the person I am today. Um, I grew up wanting to play professional soccer, which was already a very challenging dream to support any young person because the statistics on what percentage of athletes play professionally in the future is so slim.
Yeah.
But my parents supported that dream fully. I lived in Italy for 6 months because of it when I was 13, playing with a pro club that wanted to try and sign me. By 17, I was playing on a very competitive team in Canada. We competed at the highest level for our age group. We had lots of coaches and universities and colleges flying to Canada to watch us at practice. I had a scholarship opportunity with the University of Memphis. All of this to share that in my senior year of high school, in my fifth year, I ended up having three major knee injuries, two surgeries, and tore something in my right hip. And spent about 2.5 years trying to get back on a field before moving on from that dream. And I don't have kids yet, but I'm sure you and many of the branch moms can resonate. You don't enjoy seeing your children struggle and suffer and go through pain, right?
No, it's necessary though.
It helps build resilience, but in the moment, it's hard to watch. And I think my parents were really trying to support me through that, and they did. And I had some influential teachers who supported me through that. And that adversity led me down a totally different path. I was inspired by a world issues teacher to start a service project in our community that revolved around picking up garbage. and we needed volunteers. So I started speaking in schools and we started getting kids involved. And next thing you know, we've been doing this initiative for 5 years and we filled thousands of bags of trash. And I started speaking in local schools to get students excited about making good choices and taking school
Ah,
seriously. And that's what led me to the work I do today, which is, just sharing ideas with audiences all around the globe related to personal development, servant leadership, love and empathy, kindness. That led to the books I've written and published, and really to this moment right now. That's the AI summary. I try to squish it all in
yeah.
for you.
No, that's fantastic. And I knew a little bit about your background. I've done a little research on you. And I find it funny. Similar to yourself, I was an athlete. I was a springboard diver. And when I was 17, I was on the US team in New Jersey. And I was
Okay.
good. I wasn't going to the Olympics good, but I was invited to a camp at a training facility called Mission Bay down in Boca Raton, Florida, that was run by Ron O'Brien and his son. And Ron O'Brien was the Olympic coach. So I
Okay.
got to train with incredible divers, and the entire Olympic team was there while we were there. And it was just, oh, and again, my path was never going to be going to the Olympics. But the last day of the camp, I learned 7 new dives. I actually won the best improved diver award for the entire camp, which was pretty cool. And on the last day, I got nervous. I was doing the hardest dive off the 3 meter, got nervous, didn't throw it properly, and I landed flat on my back instead of vertical. And I hurt my back pretty badly. Long story short, that's why I'm a chiropractor. I went
Wow.
I went for a year and a half where if I bent over the wrong way, I'd fall to the ground. Someone would have to get me up. Kept going to my MD and they would give me muscle relaxers and pain pills and stretches, and it would help a little bit, but not enough. And so um, I ended up going to see a chiropractor after my doctor had told me that I had the back of an 80-year-old woman and I would never get better. So I went to go see a chiropractor, and within 3 visits, back pain is 95% better. My daily headaches were gone. And the fourth visit, I walked in and there was a sign at my chiropractor's office, which was new. And it said, "Do you want to be a chiropractor?" I was like, hell yeah, I want to be a chiropractor. And so that led me to move to the Midwest, to go to Palmer, to go to chiropractic school. And I look back and think, had I not hurt my back and gone through all of that adversity, I would n- I wouldn't have my children because I met my husband at chiropractic school. I wouldn't run the branch moms, which is such a deep
Wow.
part of my heart. Like if the things in my life that were negative didn't happen, then I wouldn't have this life that I pinch myself off of over. So I assume that's how you feel about that. Is there anything that you still feel kind of like, man, oh man, I really wanted to go that soccer path and my body just wouldn't let me? Do you have anger about that at all?
No, I've moved past the anger now. I think I finally started to realize that no hard work is a waste. And this is the perspective I would gift any parent to gift their child if they're going through a really big career change or sport challenge or any adversity, is that if you tried your best in that specific thing and it still didn't work out, the value of that thing was not actually reaching it. Like the value of pursuing soccer at the highest level would not be realized if I became a pro athlete. It's realized in the person I became chasing that dream.
Hmm.
The discipline it forced me to develop, the time management skills, the teamwork, the communication, all of those things are still me now. That is Sam. That made me me. And I can take me wherever I go in the future. I'm the common denominator and
Yeah,
apply myself and the skills I built and my character to a new game and also find success. And I think it's so important we celebrate the personal development, not the outcome or the accomplishment, to remind not only young people, but everybody, like you're the project, not the
yeah.
actual goal. You have to change to bring the goal to life. And there's a gentleman, I don't follow him too closely, but his name's Grant Cardone, and he did this funny documentary where for one whole month He started with no money, $0. He's a very successful businessman. No, nothing except for, I think it was like a cell phone
Okay.
and a pair of clothes. And from day one to 30 days, the end of a month, he created the the foundation for $1 million business again. And I
Wow.
was like, this is really cool. And it's because the skills never leave you. The personal development never leaves you.
Yep.
So I realized that, and that brought me a lot of peace of mind.
That's awesome. I know, as I have traveled the decades now of my life,
Yeah,
I feel like I've kind of had to recreate myself. And every 5 years, who I was at 25, I was a different person at 30 and a different person at
yeah,
35 and a different I turned 52 years ago and I was like, woohoo! I was so excited. And people are like, why are you so happy? I don't know. I'm like, I love my life and I have been through a lot. I've been through a lot of tough stuff. My mom left when I was 17. I hurt my back. Thought I was going to actually be in a wheelchair. I mean, I just didn't know where my back was going to go. I've been
yeah,
through a rough divorce. I've been through a bankruptcy. I've lost my home. A gazillion ups and downs in businesses. I started a business called Cafe and Play, which was a playtown for kids. 3 years later, I had to close it. It just didn't financially make it. And I think about
yeah.
the risks that I have taken in each part of my life to get to the next space. And it has been so like, oh, that's a win. Oh, that's not a win. Oh, that's a win. Oh, it's not a win. But sometimes the non-wins, the closing of the business of Cafe and Play, we had it open for 3 years, and the moms group had about 3,000 members when I opened it in 2012. And 2015, it had 10,000 members. And all of a sudden, it turned into something that it never was going to turn into without what I call the springboard of the loss of a business, the springboard of technically a failure. So, have you found times in your life where you've thought something was really going to be big? Maybe it was a video, maybe it was a talk, and it didn't go well, and you learned how to turn it into a springboard for you?
So I think so much about what determines the success of a project is based on our perspective of how we look at it. I was speaking in Vietnam a few months ago, and they have these cool bicycle barbecues. I don't know if you've ever seen a bicycle barbecue before.
No, I've never heard of a bicycle barbecue.
I made up the term. The first half of the bike is a regular bike with a seat. The
Okay.
back half of the bike on top of the second wheel is this manufactured charcoal barbecue attached to the back half of the barbecue.
Okay.
And these Vietnamese entrepreneurs bike to very high tourist destinations, park their bike, and then cook food for tourists walking by and sell it. And one of the nights I was in one of these tourist locations, it starts pouring rain, like torrential downpour, and half of the people selling food put their hoods on, covered their barbecue, and biked home.
Okay.
And the other half of the people put their hoods on, closed their barbecue, and then pulled out garbage bags full of plastic umbrellas. And they walked the streets and started selling everybody umbrellas. And I don't know the math, but I would assume they made more money that night selling umbrellas than they did selling food for the whole week.
Yeah.
And it's like every single seeming challenge or roadblock can become a springboard if you shift your perspective and continue with it.
Yeah.
Um, One of the ones that comes up in my life, Be Someone's Taco. We actually flew in the co-author of that book. It's a children's picture book about kindness, and we had this grand big plan to get Taco Bell involved in sponsoring the book and buying thousands of copies and putting them in all their stores. And we had a couple different ideas for them, and we managed to get a meeting with their head of marketing, and we flew Paul in from the US, and we printed out these custom t-shirts that included things the marketing team loved on their social media. And we went to the office so excited, and the head of marketing didn't show up.
Wow.
Um, and we were just like, damn, like, what are we doing? And did we just waste all this time and money and flying you here? And he's like, no, Sam, this is a phenomenal story. And I shifted my perspective, and I was like, yeah, this is something I can talk about. And the book is still in the world, and we did launch it, and it's doing amazing. And um, I think about that moment often,
Mhm.
and it's a reminder to just keep showing up. Like things might not unfold exactly exactly how you plan. But if you keep moving towards them, you'll still reach a final destination.
Absolutely. I think I'm one of those maybe annoying people where I'm like everything happens for a reason. I take
Yeah,
a couple of things off that list, like the loss of a child or something off, things like that, right? I'm talking about normal life struggles, not devastating ones. But I do believe that if you pay attention to your own life and you listen to your gut and you follow your gut, and you can take some risks knowing that even if it doesn't work out, you're still learning. There's still lessons
yeah,
that are going to be embedded in the doing, right?
yeah,
And every once in a while you get to a space where you're like, whew, I don't know if I have a lot more in me. And then I just know that I've been too busy and I need to take, I call it
mm,
a bedrooming day. My husband termed it. One day I'm like, listen, I'm done. I don't want to talk to anyone. I'm going to lay in bed and watch Bridgerton all day long and I'm going to have snacks. And
yeah,
so he came up and he was like, do you need anything? Do you need more snacks? I'm like, no, I'm good. He goes, it's kind of like you're bedrooming. So I now plan bedrooming days for when I'm too busy.
yeah.
So what do you do when you are just out of gas, maybe in a little funk? I mean, everyone gets, you seem like a real positive dude, but there are days where you wake up and the sun's not shining, it's a little drizzly out and you just are like, ugh, you just feel, ugh. What do you do to get out of that? Or sometimes I lean into it and I go, you know what? It's just going to be an off day and that's okay.
Yeah.
So how do you manage it?
You know what's really funny? Recently, um, my girlfriend and I got in the habit of praying together.
Yeah.
So, like before we go to sleep, before we eat meals, we just express thanks and gratitude for life. And I recently also got her an Aura ring, so it tracks all of her stats,
Yes.
on her sleep cycles and all that fun stuff, energy levels, stress levels. And she just called me the other day, and she's like, "Sam, whenever we have a quick call and we say a prayer together, my stress level goes into a state of being restored." And it's like a steep line, even if it's only like a 1 minute quick call and prayer, like it goes really steep down and then back up.
Wow.
And, I,
What a data
I think that
point.
it's, yeah. And I was like, yo, we should keep like testing this. Like, people wonder
Yeah.
if their prayers and their gratitude are ever answered. And I think this is a cool little proof that your body is responding to them. They're definitely being addressed in some way, shape, or form. And um, all of this to say, I think for me, I go back to this belief that there is a creator of some sort
Yeah.
that has a plan for me and a plan for you, and we all have unique gifts and talents. And how can I reconnect with that to fill up my energy again? And for me, that's prayer, that's meditation, that's walking in nature, that's getting off my devices and
Yeah.
distractions for a moment. I think all of those things are things I try my best to return to in those moments when it feels a little bit gloomy.
Well, I couldn't agree more. For me, that is a trip to the ocean. Um,
Yeah.
I really like there is something we go to St. Pete Beach in Florida. It's on the
Oh,
West
yes.
Coast, and as soon as I get in that sand, I just feel like I'm home. I said
Yeah.
in a podcast one time that I wanted to be a mermaid dolphin, and so that's my what I hope when I die, whatever's out there turns me into a mermaid dolphin. I think I'll be real happy in the sea. But you talk about, you feel like you're here for a purpose, right? That there's something bigger than us that has a plan for you. I believe that too. And I
Yeah.
think, I talk about the pinching me of like the life I get to live. I get to help people. I don't have any relationship with my mom other than a couple of emails here and there. And my husband says, he's like, you know what? He's like, the mom that doesn't have a mom gets to take care of 100,000 moms. And our
What a
taglines
gift.
for the branch moms is you're never alone and you're always invited. Because
Mhm.
back in high school, I was the girl that walk into the cafeteria and be like, I don't know who I'm going to sit with. I just didn't have a lot of connections. And then I went away to chiropractic school And, my mom had left. I'd hurt my back. I gained a lot of weight. My confidence level was like a zero. And I was so nervous to talk to people. I really just didn't have any confidence or the ability to put on a smile. I was kind of depressed. And I sat in the room, the orientation room. I moved 1,000 miles away by myself. It's the first time I'd left home.
Wow.
And I remember looking around the room. I was like, you know what? No one knows me here. No one knows my mom got sick and left.
Yeah.
No one knows I hate my body. No one knows I don't really have a lot of friends. No one
Wow.
knows I don't have any confidence. And I had this like lightning bolt. I said, I'm just going to pretend to be someone I'm not. And so I went afterwards to the little party afterwards, and my knees are knocking. I went up and shook everyone's hands. Hi, I'm Cathy from New Jersey. Where are you from? And I don't know what came over me. I just remember thinking, if I continue the way I'm currently going, I'm not going to have a happy life. I'm not going to be who I want to be. And so I got so out of my comfort zone, and little by little by little, I call it faking confidence. The faked confidence became real. And within a couple of months, I would go home on Friday and I'd have 7 messages on my answering machine. That's how old I am, Sam. My answering machine. And everyone would be like, "Where's everyone going tonight? What bar are we going to?" And then people started calling me like the class organizer. Like they were just like, "Well, you're the person, the social coordinator of our class." Like there wasn't a title. People just started calling me that. And so throughout my life, and again, every 5 years, kind of reconnecting to who I am and taking off the hiding, right? Getting back to like who I am at my core as I started running the branch moms and doing writing and podcasts. And I realized I really feel like I was put here on this earth to go through what I went through, all of the crap, to get to a place that I have the empathy, the kindness, the patience to manage a group of this many moms. And at some point, I feel like I have this weird light inside of me that I know can help others. You clearly have that. When did you know that?
I think the first time a young person came up to me and told me that something I said changed the way they felt
Hmm.
about themselves in like a really positive way. I also reflect on a lot of coaches and mentors I've had in my life who have made a big impact on me and have reminded me that we all have the same capabilities. We're all human beings. If I can do it, so can you. Um, but I'm trying to think of like a specific, really polarizing moment that might have happened in my life when I thought, I'm able to do this. Um,
Well, it
I
doesn't have to
honestly
be
think it's
one
as
moment.
simple. Yeah, no, I think it's as simple as just like noticing that the way I show up can make somebody else smile and feel good.
Hmm.
And it doesn't have to be something huge. It could be as simple as, I was walking in the airport a few days ago and someone made eye contact with me and I held the eye contact and I smiled.
Yeah,
And, his frown turned into a smile and he walked away and I walked away. And I was like, that's really all it
that was
takes.
it. Yeah,
Yeah. It's like we all have that ability. It's a choice we make, you
it
know?
is. One of the things I love about my husband the most, and my dad has it too, um, just a very charismatic, caring, strong, kind man, but he can make conversation with anyone. And I do as well. But when I listen to some of your clips, I hear that embedded in it of just, hey, you're a human, I'm a human, we're in the same space,
Yeah.
right? Hey, you have some killer shoes on right now. It's really awesome.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll just be walking in the grocery store. I'll be like, your dress is on point, lady. Like that's really good on you. And just
Yeah.
bringing just a little bit of happiness, a little bit of joy, a little compliment here and there. And I think in the heaviness of the world, right? The world is heavy. And making sure that we are not just escaping into AI and technology. And I give a talk about keeping the human in business. And it's really important. It's really important to remember we are human beings. I tell my staff, we do chiropractic and massage here, that some people that walk in this door, this will be the only physical touch they have for a month, right? We have to remember that some people are really not connected, either personally or physically with anyone. And I think the people out there that have that spark, that have that light, that have that message to give, it makes the world go round. And I really think it's important. And so what you do is it's important. And I hope that you're really proud of yourself.
I appreciate that a lot. I
Yeah.
think we're often our harshest critics, you know, like we
Hmm.
put a lot of pressure on ourselves to do good. And um, it's interesting being someone who's always sharing with others because you really only learn when you stop talking, you know, like, and,
Yes.
and so I really enjoy being able to observe at times and not be the person sharing ideas and information, and creating more space for that has been really helpful in my life. Um, there's also challenging times. You know, like I have some stuff going on right now,
Yeah.
and the past few days have been pretty heavy, and it's a reminder to just take an inhale and an exhale and to keep showing up with the with hope, but also like giving myself time to just relax and rest too. You know, I
Yeah.
rescheduled all my calls yesterday. It takes some personal time. You know, like not ignoring those things and addressing them. Um, but anyway, I appreciate that a lot. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome. A lot of times, I think when my kids have successes, um, I will tell them that I'm proud of them, but then I really follow up with, but I hope you're proud of you. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, it almost doesn't matter what I think, it's what you think, it's Christopher, my oldest got his first C in social studies in fifth grade, and he came
yeah,
home kind of he's a smart kid. And he's
yeah.
like, I got a C in social studies. I said, okay. I said, do you want to know something? And he's like, what? I go, I got my first C in social studies in fifth grade as well. And he kind of perks up, right? He's like, really? And I think his first thought is, I'm not in trouble, And and he gets a little too happy. And I go, hold up there, bud. I go, were you smart enough to get a B? And he's like, yeah. I said, how does that make you feel? He said, crappy. I said, okay. And I stopped talking. And he looks at me and he goes, is that it? Like, am I in trouble? I go, not my grades. They're your grades. You have to care about them, right? I mean, unless you're failing out of everything and not trying, right? Getting a C, gives you again, a little spiciness, right? That's what life is about, is trying to navigate that. I think as a young person, learning to have that internal voice of, is this right? Is this wrong? Is this in alignment with who I am? Is this, am I following my truths and my gut read of things? I think that's really important. And I think a lot of what you talk about teaches that as well. Tell me, I know we don't have a ton more time, but tell me a little bit about the two books, just so we let our listeners know about those.
Empty Your Backpack is the first book I wrote, and I wrote it because I wanted to give anybody my thoughts on 6 ideas and ways to shift your mindset, to let go of the negative thoughts we carry about ourselves and our potential, and 6 ideas around actions that can help people move closer to a goal and dream that I found really valuable in moving me closer to my goal and dream, which was to speak. And, you know, I'm really young. I've done close to 900 performances now across the United States. I've spoken in Vietnam and Kenya and soon Mexico and maybe Switzerland. Like it's starting to really grow. And you know, there's people that might write some books on stuff like this, but I've been doing it for almost 10 years. And
Yeah.
when we first put the book out, it was aimed towards young adults, high school students, college, university, early career talent. But I can't tell you how many people in their 50s and 60s have reached out to me and said, I'm 3 times your age, but I love the ideas in your book. Thank you so much for putting it out there. And we've had close to 40,000 people now read it. And so
It's great.
that book, Empty Your Backpack, will help you move closer to a goal or a dream or make a career shift and challenge your own personal mindset. Um, the second book I wrote is called Be Someone's Taco. I collaborated on that one with two parents. It's a children's picture book that introduces young people, little kiddos, to the ideas of empathy and kindness through a fun story. It was
I know
based
the
on,
story. I've heard the taco
yeah,
story that you dropped out or
yeah,
you ordered tacos for your friend that were having a rough day and you didn't realize how bad it
yeah.
was and they just needed it so bad. And it's a beautiful story.
Yeah, if someone searches on Google, Be Someone's Taco, you'll find the video. And I encourage anyone listening to check that out. And the book is really just that real life experience and story turned into a children's picture book. We have a taco wrap that goes along with it. Um, you can find that on Spotify or Apple if you search Be Someone's Taco by Sam Demma, which is hilarious and we barely advertise it.
Do you
Um,
actually do the rapping, Sam?
it's me, yeah. Yeah,
That's
check that out.
awesome.
It'll make you laugh. It'll make you
Good.
laugh.
So singer, I have to add rapper actually too when I introduce author, speaker, rapper.
Yeah, that's so funny.
That's cool. All right. So a couple of quick questions.
Yeah.
I assume you do book signings. Like, do you do like meet and greets where you're signing people's books? Do you ever do that?
Yeah. So I
Okay.
speak at a lot of schools and conferences, and they often buy books and bundle them with the keynote, and I'll sign books there. This fall, we're doing 10 ticketed shows around Canada and then one in New York.
Okay.
As things continue to grow, I'll do a lot more public events. That our goal is to fill stadiums with families
Mm,
and create these half comedic, half motivational experiences that are multi-generational. I envision grandparents coming with their kids and their grandkids all to a show.
mm.
And these 10 ticketed shows this fall is really a big step in that direction. And, 3 to 5 years from now, we'll be doing arena events for families.
That's
That's the vision.
that's awesome. What does someone say to you when they're talking to you, when you just meet someone and maybe you're just signing a book and it's just a quick hello and there's a line? What does someone say
Yeah.
to you that makes you remember them?
They tell me a personal story.
Mm,
I remember the conversations with people who tell me a quick personal story about how something in their life shifted or changed as a result of something they heard or learned, even if it wasn't from me, but like
mm.
a piece of life advice. Like I was just in Louisiana speaking for fire chiefs, and a gentleman walked up to me and he said, Sam, I loved your speech. It really connected with something my mom always said to me, which is you can have fun standing in a bank line and you can be miserable standing in Disneyland.
So true.
The attitude you choose determines the outcome. And I was like, whoa, that's a really cool perspective. And it so aligns with something I shared. And I
Yeah.
won't forget Chief Kyle Fuselier now because
Yeah.
I love that little piece of life wisdom. So quick personal stories. When people tell me those, I collect them. I write them in my
Yeah.
journal. I share them
Nice.
with others.
That's awesome. I remember my son
Yeah.
was seventh grade and I was driving him to middle school and we got in the
Yeah.
car and he looks at me, he goes, today's going to be a great day. I said,
Yeah.
really? What do you have going on? He goes, I don't know. I just decided it was going to be a great day. And I was
Yeah.
like, all right, I'm doing something right as a mother.
Yeah. It's like we
Yeah.
can we can decide it's going to be a bad day because there's clouds. Why can't we decide it's going to be a
Yeah.
good day because we have pants? You choose whatever you want. Like choose whatever you want, and it's a reason.
All right, last question. If I could snap my fingers and Sam Demma could have a postcard with one or two sentences in everyone's mailbox across the entire world, what would that postcard read?
The postcard would say, "Our blood is all the same color. Everyone you cross paths with is a member of your family."
Mm, God, so powerful, isn't it? And it's just in a world where we're so divided sometimes, we're all human. Yeah, we all breathe the same air. So,
Yep.
well, hey, I just appreciate you coming on. It just flew by. I looked down at the time. I was like, oh, good gosh, that just went so fast. I knew it would. And how can people, where can they follow you? How can they get a hold of you if a school system is listening and want to fly you out and have them talk at the school? Like, what's the contact point?
Best place is my website. It's my first name, last name.com, samdemma.com. You can find our Shopify store there that has all of our products. You can also find a contact form you can fill out to bring me to speak at a conference or association event, a school event. You can also find links to our social profiles. And I say our social profiles because we have a small little team who's all working on this vision and dream together. I'm across all social media platforms, just my name. We post 2 videos every single day, beautiful
Wow,
stories. So feel free to follow along on whatever platform you use the most. And I look forward to crossing paths with you in the future.
that's great. All right. Well, I hope you have a great day. You said you're going through some heavy stuff. I hope that heaviness lifts sometime soon. And I will look forward to seeing you online and staying connected. And hey, a couple months ago, I sent you this weird message telling you I was proud of you. I appreciate you sending me a message back and agreeing to come on and talking with us today. So, hope
Thanks a
everyone has a
lot.
great day, and we will be back with you soon.